We got a lot to talk about in this video. What's going on, guys? It's Dark right here, and welcome back to the channel. And we got a pretty big one for you guys. So for those who are not fully aware of what's going on with Nintendo, recently they filed a cease and desist for the Big House tournament that was set to happen this month, and stating that due to illegal copies of Super Smash Bros. Melee and the use of Slippy, the Big House tournament organizers are forced to comply with that cease and desist that Nintendo of America themselves filed, and therefore shutting down the tournament for not only Melee, but also for Ultimate. Now, personally, a lot of people are going to defend Nintendo on this whole entire thing, saying this is their right as a company to defend the game and take it down if they don't want the tournament streaming it or hosting the events for both Melee and Ultimate. Personally, the reason why I think this is such a dumb rule is because there's a lot to unfold, but I'm going to keep this video short, plain and simple for those who want to know some decent details and want my opinion about this whole thing. Pretty much my opinion with this whole thing regarding Nintendo and filing the cease and desist claims for the Big House tournament itself, and why I personally think it is a very big deal and more people should be taking it seriously than they think, and let me explain why. Personally, a lot of people, I will agree that this is Nintendo's right to file these types of claims like cease and desist towards a tournament organizer and tournament itself to host the event. But also, in a way, it's also very ridiculous of Nintendo to do this, because this is not only the first time they've done this, this is the second time they've done this with Melee. For those who have not been following the Melee scene for quite some time, like myself, back in 2013, Melee was set to be on the main stage for EVO 2013 after raising, I believe, was like what, $94,000 for charity just to get onto the spotlight and get back on EVO. So after all this news came out about Melee going to be at EVO, going to be on the main stage, raised all this money towards charity, sadly Nintendo stepped in and told the EVO tournament organizers themselves, saying you can host the event for the game, but you can't stream it. And due to the unholy amount of backlash Nintendo received from this entire thing that happened towards it, Nintendo not only backed out of them like refusing to host the event for the game and stream it, but they also ended up sponsoring the event. And now here we are in 2020 with the Big House right around the corner, and Nintendo reinstating that same exact thing they did back in 2013 with EVO. Now, my opinion, now that you guys have got some feedback and a little bit of backstory as to what Nintendo has done previously and how they reinstated the same file for cease and desist with the Big House, and why I think this is a dumb move on Nintendo's part. Honestly, the main reason why this is such a big deal, more than people think it is because not only did Nintendo file a cease and desist a second time in reinstating an old thing that they did back in 2013 with EVO. Pretty much, not only are you shitting on your community and you are just trying to get Melee off the radar as much as you possibly can, and not just Melee, but competitive Smash in general. And also back to the cease and desist claim that Nintendo did with the Big House. Not only if Nintendo wins this cease and desist claim, and if they don't back out of it and they go through with what they've decided on with the tournament, this opens the door for other game devs to basically look at what Nintendo is doing. And let's say if their game is being hosted at a tournament or like an event like AGDQ or something like that is hosting their game, and it's going to be in the main spotlight, other devs can just look at Nintendo, say like, hey, they're filing a cease and desist for this tournament that was trying to host their game, and reveal it to thousands of people. Why not let us do the same thing? Pretty much what I'm trying to say is Nintendo filing a cease and desist, it will open the door for other devs to follow in that same business practice as to what Nintendo is doing with the Big House. And personally, this is another issue that I have with Nintendo as a whole. This is no surprise to me, but at the same time, it's just sad to see. Now, basically what I mean is, I have said it before and I will say it again. Nintendo is the most anti-consumer company in the entire gaming industry by far, and it's not even close. Mario 3D All-Stars Collection being the most half-assed and poorly made ports and remodels and remasters, if you could say that, for this Nintendo Switch for Mario's 35th anniversary. Keep that in mind, by the way. 35th anniversary for Mario. And they go out of their way to make a 3D All-Stars collection, but it is the lamest excuse of a collection I have ever seen from a game company, period. They released Mario 64 still in 4:3 resolution, and the game itself doesn't look different at all, just besides a few upgrades on the HUD and the textures, but it's still the same thing. And not only that, but the game is still in 30 frames per second, which I genuinely don't understand. Nintendo, if they really cared about the fans and they had the fans in mind, like it says in their bio, we're listening. Yeah, right, Nintendo. You released the game in 30 frames per second, and not only that, it is still 4:3 with a few updated textures here and there, but it's still the same game as it was back in 1996. It's just that now it's ported over to the Nintendo Switch with some slight upgrades. Same thing with Mario Sunshine. The game's in widescreen now, and I believe it was 1080p, but it's still 30 frames per second, and it still looks the exact same as it was on the Nintendo GameCube. Just, it's now widescreen, and now it's upscaled a little bit, but not by much. And so another thing that really gets me upset about Nintendo is these cease and desist claims. And another thing that has also recently happened with Nintendo, I believe on the same day that they filed the cease and desist claim, is that streamers on Twitch were getting banned for streaming the game early in different regions. Now, personally, I think worldwide release dates are a bit sketchy if you are a Twitch streamer, and that sets a target for you, basically trying to get yourself banned for streaming a game in a different region. Let's say the game is out in Australia, Europe, and not in America, and you stream the game early, basically, if you're not an American, pretty much. You're basically setting a target up for yourself, and that's exactly what happened when Age of Calamity released on the other side of the world, but yet not yet in North America. Twitch streamers, I think there was like 3 different types of Twitch streamers that got banned. They got like either 48 hours or 7-day bans. I can't remember how long the bans were, but one was a 48-hour, and another one I believe was a 7-day ban, because they were streaming Age of Calamity early, despite the game being released in different regions already. Now, from what I've seen on the Twitter of Nintendo, they didn't do anything to file or didn't do anything to report this and say they're working on it with, with Twitch or anything like that. It just swept under the rug. Basically, throughout this entire video, I have stated one thing and one thing only. Nintendo sucks as a company, and just for the people in general. They are not listening. They continue to make unholy decisions towards not only Smash, but to the fans in general. And pretty much this cease and desist claim, it opens the door for other devs to, I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but it opens the door for other devs to look at that business practice and just go about that and basically do the same thing that what Nintendo is doing. So Nintendo, in a way, is also inspiring potential other game developers to do the same thing with their games. Now, the same thing happened with Dragon Ball FighterZ recently with the devs and their game. I don't know the full story on that one, but all I know is that it happened, and this is getting really bad, in my opinion. Pretty much these devs just going out of their way to stop events that have their game. And my thing is, why even release the game, period? Or why even have it available to the public if you don't want your game being, streamed or having hosted at events for thousands, if not potentially a lot of people for the game to love and bring in new fans as well. The moral of this entire video is a couple things. Nintendo sucks as a company and as a consumer brand. Like you can go out and buy a console or a game. They're terrible at what they do. And Nintendo has got to do a complete 180 to redeem themselves in this entire situation that is going on with them right now. And another thing, let's not make this a trend with gaming companies and game devs to file cease and desist claims for not only something like Melee that is a 20-year-old game, and Nintendo still targets to this game to this very day, which in my opinion makes no sense. And number 3, let's not do worldwide release dates for games like Age of Calamity, otherwise it is going to set Twitch streamers up for a potential ban. And let's just not do that, shall we? Thank you guys for listening in on this video. This video was short, but this video was a follow-up regarding my live stream that I did a couple days ago. If you guys want to go check that out, it will be in my regular, my full live stream archives playlist in my channel, if you guys want to go check it out. That being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on this video. If you guys have a different opinion of your own regarding Nintendo, the cease and desist, and potentially other game devs getting involved with this business practice that Nintendo is doing and wants to do it on their own with their game potentially, let me know in the comments down below like what you think. Let's have a discussion about this. And if you guys want to support me even further and want to know when the next video or the next live stream is going to go up, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell for the next time I go live or the next time a video goes up. Thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a great rest of your day.